Hello everyone, I am Dr. Garma Sachdeva from the Department of IT, and the subject that we are discussing is Foundations of Management. Today we will be discussing in this video coordination and communication. Topics that will be covered are directing, motivation and management by objectives. We will start with directing. It is one of the functions of management as we have discussed in previous slides. Directing refers to a process or technique of instructing, guiding, inspiring, counseling, overseeing, and leading people towards the accomplishment of organizational goals. It is a continuous managerial process that goes on throughout the life of the organization. What are the characteristics of directing? It initiates action. It is pervasive, available, and present at all the levels. It is a continuous activity, and it always in the descending order of a hierarchy. A top person, a superior, will direct a subordinate, and it's a human factor that we deviate, so directing is important. What is the importance of directing? It initiates actions, integrates efforts, it motivates employees, provides stability if the plan is getting deviated, coping up with the changes if there are there, because environment is dynamic, and effective utilization of resources. Now, motivation. See, the term motivation has been derived from the word motive. Motive is anything that initiates or sustains activity. It is an inner state that energizes, activates, or moves, and that directs or channels behavior towards goals. Motive is a psychological force within an individual that sets him in motion. Behind every human action there is a motive. According to E.F.L. Breach, motivation is the general inspiration process which gets the members of a team to pull their weight effectively, to give their loyalty to the group, to carry out properly the task that they have accepted, and generally to play an effective part in the job that the group has undertaken. Essentials of motivation. For higher efficiency, motivation is required to use the resources optimum level, reduction in labor turnover, absenteeism, better industrial relations, interpersonal relations, easier selection of the motive, and facilitate the change. Now, theories of motivation. We will be discussing three major theories of motivation. First is Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Now, Maslow says that you can motivate a person in a chronological order. That means his need is generated in a order that he has given. Say for example, first is physiological needs. That means the basic need of food, water, cloth, shelter should be completed. Once these needs are completed, then any person can think of health, employment, property, family. Once his family needs, safety, security needs are completed, he will move to love and belongingness, sense of connection, friendship, intimacy. Once his love and belonging needs are completed, he will move to self-esteem, wherein we can talk about confidence, achievement, respect of others, the need to be unique individual, how he sees himself in his own eyes. Then comes self-actualization. That is the highest level of motivation. That is, he needs to prove himself. Morality, creativity, spontaneity, acceptance, experience, purpose, all these things are the Maslow's need hierarchy theory. He says a person can move only in this chronological order from bottom to top and cannot skip any need in between. Whereas Herzberg has divided motivational theory of Maslow into two parts. He says there are hygiene factors and motivational factors, and a human being can take a shift from hygiene to motivation and motivation to hygiene factors, right? Then there is McGregor's theory X and Y. McGregor has given two theories, two parts of one theory. Theory X says his according to him that human being is a lack integrity. He avoids responsibility, does not walk to work. He wants to work as little as possible, and he prefers direction at every step. Wherein his theory Y says कि no, human being have integrity, they work towards objectives, they want to achieve something, they have self-esteem, self-actualization, they can make decisions provided right kind of environment is given to them. Then the last topic of this video is management by objectives. Now, management by objectives is the establishment of management information system to compare actual performance and achievements to the defined objectives. Practitioners claim that the major benefits of MBO are that it improves employee motivation and commitment and allows for better communication between management and employees. The process of setting objective in the organization to give a sense of direction to the employees is called management by objectives. It refers to the process of setting goals for the employees so that they know what they are supposed to do at the workplace. MBO defines roles and responsibilities for the employees and help them chalk out their future course of action in the organization. Management by objectives guides the employees to deliver their level best and achieve the target within the stipulated time frame. What are the advantages of management by objectives? The benefits include employee taking pride in their work with the goals and that they know they can achieve. It also aligns employees with their strengths, skills and educational experiences. MBO also leads to increased communication between management and employees. Assigning tailored goals brings a sense of importance to employees, bringing loyalty to the firm. And lastly, management can create goals that can lead to the success of the company. Now, what are the disadvantages? As MBO is focused on goals and targets, it often ignores other parts of a company, such as culture of conduct, a healthy work ethos, and areas of involvement and contribution. MBO puts increased strain on employees to meet the goals in a specified time frame. In addition, if management solely relies on MBO for all management responsibilities, it can be problematic for areas that don't fit under MBO. Thank you.